Hello, my name's David Close from Close Combat Self-Defense. This is my third video blog, but it's part 2 of the grading page video. I've made a few small changes to the syllabus schedule, so I had to cut the previous video and re-upload it, then make the second video to let everyone know about the changes. The web address is closecombatselfdefense.com and the link for the grading page can be found here on the top menu. Let me just quickly say that in my previous video I talked about having two separate classes while talking about the grades, a grade 0 to 1 class and a grade 2 to 3 class, but we aren't going to do that until we need to, and I will be changing it on the website to reflect this update. We will be having two classes, charged separately, that all students can attend. The main lesson is for 1.5 hours and the reflex development lesson for an additional hour. So let's follow up from the end of my previous video, which ended after the syllabus disclaimer, and talk about the grading syllabus and how I've laid it out on the website. The lesson numbers are down the side from 1 to 28, and as you can see there are two sections within each lesson. These sections will be 35 minutes each, and there will be a 15-minute warm-up at the start of the lesson and a 5-minute cool-down at the end. The warm-up will consist of some intense cardio and bodyweight exercises and then stretching from head to toe. This might sound quite difficult, but each warm-up technique will be timed, not counted, so each student only has to do what they are capable or feel like doing. For example, I will call out press-ups, and while I will probably do 15 press-ups in 15 seconds, some people may only do 1 or 2, which is perfectly fine as long as you are getting warmed up and trying your best. Over time you can push yourself to improve, increasing the number of press-ups within the 15 seconds, improving your fitness as you go. Now we'll talk about the two sections to each lesson. The first section will usually be for stand-up fight training, and the second section will be for groundwork, in most cases, but sometimes this isn't the case and they do overlap. I have colour-coded this section of the page so that students can easily see what each lesson will consist of. The orange blocks are defensive stand-up fighting skills where students will look at defences against different strikes, being grabbed or choked, weapon defences, pressure testing and sparring. The green blocks are similar but are pad work sessions, training how to kick and punch hard while also being a good pad holder and getting used to having strikes thrown at you. Both the orange and green blocks will always be in the first section of each lesson. The blue blocks are for groundwork, taken from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to learn how to defend yourself on the ground against larger opponents, making yourself dead weight and using their strength against them to tire and weaken your opponent. These blocks cover takedowns, achieving and maintaining the dominant position, and finishing the fight with various locks and chokes. Each lesson will be taught 3 times in a staggered cycle over 84 weeks to aid learning, as shown below. The skills will also be included in the reflex development and combat simulation sessions to commit them to muscle memory. Now what I mean by a reflex development and combat simulation session is the hour lesson that comes after the first 1.5 hour lesson. This second lesson will be to develop your reflexes for lower grades and to simulate combat for the higher grades. For example, let's look at the trap and roll escape, which has 3 variations. In the second section of lesson 1, I will demonstrate the first variation and then get everyone to try it in sequence, step by step. Then you will switch with your partner and they will do the same. Then we will do the same with the other 2 variations with both partners. Now comes the reflex development. This will involve you and your partner going through all 3 techniques each in a cycle without stopping until you know how to do it without thinking and have built up muscle memory and develop your reflexes. Combat simulation is similar to this, but it is for higher grade students and will involve more than one technique. For example, we may build up a combat simulation that involves the trap and roll escape and the Americana arm lock for grade 2 students to try, but a grade 4 student will do a combat simulation with the trap and roll escape, Americana arm lock, taking the back and the rear naked choke all in one go. Reflex development and combat simulation help students to make the skills become second nature so that you can confidently use the skills if you ever need to. Now let's look at the training schedule. This is the section that has just been added to the syllabus and the reason why I had to edit the original grading page video and split it into 2. The training schedule is over a period of 84 weeks and cycles through each lesson 3 times. This allows for the skills and techniques to be remembered so that they become second nature and practiced for an adequate amount of time before moving on to introducing the next set of lessons into the cycle. As you can see, there are 3 columns, and I've separated the list into 2 sections. The first column is the week number and runs from 1 to 84. The second column is the lesson number and will cycle through the 28 lessons in a staggered format to cover the 84 weeks. And the third column shows how many times that lesson has been gone over. Again, I have colour coded these. The yellow blocks are for the first time through, the purple are for the second, and the pink are for the third. Using a combination of the 2 charts, you can see what we will be learning and when. If you miss a lesson, it will be covered again 2 more times. But it's very important to make sure you know the skills properly, and missing lessons will have an effect on your grading if I feel you haven't confidently learned everything up to grade standard. So that's the syllabus and training schedule and the second half of the grading page. If you have any questions about this, feel free to send me a message or ask me before or after the lesson. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll be back with another one soon.